Okay, very good. So, firstly, I would like to, besides welcoming you, I would also like to let you know that if you want to speak, okay, especially during the sharing session or during the introduction session, you have to unmute yourself, okay? Otherwise, throughout the session today, please mute yourself, okay? If you want to speak, put up your hand and then you unmute yourself before you speak, okay? Good. And then let's start with self-introduction of each of us. And then I'll briefly introduce the topic of the day. And then we have the sharing. And then after the sharing will be Q&A. Okay, for this part, I wanted to know how many of you will share. Now we only have 5 people who are able to overcome this technical challenge. So I know that Ian will share. How about Bing? Will you share?
I'd like to be a participant, but not share at this
No
particular
problem.
moment.
No problem, no problem. And then somehow I think we lost Ruth, right? And then, where are you able to hear us? Ued? Okay. So anyway, so if that's the case, then today we will have Caleb and also Ian who will share. Okay. And okay, very good. And then lastly will be after the sharing session. So we have Caleb to share first, and then Q&A. After that, we have Ian share and then Q&A. That will be the format of sharing. And lastly, I will also talk about our HR community. Okay. So, okay, let's start with our self-introduction. I would like each of you to tell us your name, the company that you are working for, and also the country that you are from, okay? So let me start with myself first. I am Rita Chui. I'm the founding member of this HR community, and the name of this HR community is Asia HRM, okay? And I'm from Hong Kong, okay? So now, next would be Caleb. Caleb?
Hi everyone, my name is Caleb. I am a consultant working. I founded a company called Culture Transformation, and having been a consultant for many years. And yeah, I'm from Singapore.
Bing? Bing, can you hear us? Can you just quickly introduce yourself, Bing? Bing, can you hear us? Oh.
He just wants to be a participant. I think she wants to just be a participant.
Okay. Then next will be Ian. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Hiền. I have 14 years working in industries, and my current company now is a Viettel Group from Vietnam.
Okay, very good. How about we have a new participant, right? Do? Is that Mr. Do? Do, can you hear us? Is Miss or Miss Do? Hello?
Yep.
Hello? Oh, okay. So how about Uet? Can you hear us? Hello? Uet? Okay, so again, we have the technical challenge here. Anyway, so let me introduce the topic of the day, okay? So basically, as Jack Welch mentioned, an organization's ability to learn and translate that learning into action rapidly is the ultimate competitive advantage. And according to a lot of surveys and statistics, we all know that fostering a learning and development culture in our organization is one of the retention strategies for our staff. So that's why a lot of companies are striving for a learning culture so that everybody will benefit it. Okay, so we all know that this is important to have this kind of initiative and also culture in place. And next would be have Caleb to tell us more about this topic, and then after that we will have Q&A. Okay, so Caleb.
Thank you everyone. Welcome to this session on developing a learning culture in your organization. So as I do consulting work for many companies, many companies have learning programs, but having learning programs does not mean that you have a learning culture because program versus culture is different. When you have the culture, well, you will have some great programs, you will have great learning activities, but having learning activities does not mean that you have a learning culture, because some people who are in the company who are going through the program are just going through because they are asked to, because they are forced to, but there is no learning culture in that company. So how do you really get into this whole learning culture? By the way, what is an organizational culture? It is good for us to begin to understand what is a culture, what is an organizational culture. An organizational culture is simply how people think, act, and interact within a work environment that produces certain outcomes. So it is a collective kind of thinking, behavior, and how they engage one another within the environment that will eventually produce great outcome, great results for the organization. Have you ever wondered why Nokia lost the game to Apple? I mean, I believe many of us here, we have once upon a time owned a Nokia phone. We all, how many of you own a Nokia phone before?
Yes.
Yes, every one of you, if not, I would say 80 to 90% of the people in our generation who have known Nokia would have owned one before. And the answer is very simple. A Nokia lost because it failed to learn. They come to a certain point, they think that their phone is the best in the world, and and of course, they stop innovating, and then that's where Apple came in very, very strong, because they were focusing at the back end and innovation. They were thinking about what is the next breakthrough product that will change the world. They were not just doing some kind of helping them to just improve one or two features of the phone, but Apple was thinking of a breakthrough product and breakthrough innovation. So that's how Nokia lost. And of course, we know that many organizations, especially the tech company, are falling behind Google, because Google has a very strong culture of innovation, and they are in the forefront of learning every day. And so that's why they are Google is the company that's leading right in front of all the tech company. Of course, if Google were to stop innovating and stop learning, Google can become like Nokia as well. So it is very important for us to begin to understand some of the statistics about learning, the result of learning, the result of innovation. Employees are 37% more productive than their peers at organizations that, Now, they are 58% more likely to have the skills in their talent pipeline to meet changing marketplace needs. They are 32% more likely to be the first to market any innovative solution. They have a 26% better track record of producing quality products and delivering stellar services. And they are 34% more likely to respond faster to and satisfactorily address customers' needs. So this is according to a research and study of a global study to find out when an organization is more has the culture of learning, they are way in advance than their peers, than their competitors. So I want to introduce to you, how do you get there to build a strong learning culture? There are 5 things here which I want to introduce to all of us. The first is called model or modeling. Secondly, It is about developing the right mindset. And then you put everything into some kind of a schedule because you want to be intentional. Fourthly, is to build habit into the team, into the organization. And lastly, you build system and structure. I will explain this later on. Many organization, uh, when they want to do try to introduce learning, the first thing that they do is to do system and structure. This is not the best way because once you start with just system and structure, you are forcing people and you are trying to create something uh, to move people's body and getting people to do something, but without going through the right process of, first of all, modeling and mindset change. Uh, because today's time is quite short, I will just be focusing a lot on just mindset. So what is a mindset? Mindset is a mental attitude that determines how you interpret and respond to situations. So as I go into many companies, I notice that people are forced to learn. People hate learning. People clock in the hour for learning. And if there be a e-learning system, people just go through the motion, but they don't really learn just to hit the KPI, and you don't see people really feeling very energized by the learning or feel enthusiastic about the learning. So this is something that is the mindset of people have not been changed, but then from the top they are just moving the people's body into activities, which is not the most productive way. According to research by McKinsey and the company, it says that failure to recognize and shift mindsets can stall the change effort of an organization. Yeah, change effort. If you want to introduce change, you want to introduce improvement, you want to introduce a new set of initiative, you must first of all deal with the mindset. Without doing so, you are not going to see good results. Number two, it says that a second McKinsey study finds that organizations that identify and address pervasive mindsets at the outset are 4 times more likely to change efforts than succeed in organizations are companies that overlook this stage. So if you are able to address the pervasive mindset, then you're more likely to succeed in your change effort. Lastly, those who attempt to effect change by concentrating on changing mindsets are 4 times more likely to succeed than those who focus only on changing behavior. So we all know that there are 2 kinds of mindset. The first one is what we call the fixed mindset. And then there's another kind that's called the growth mindset. A company can be locked into a kind of fixed mindset, and that is very, very dangerous. We all know Kodak's story. Kodak is the first company in the world to have found digital technology for the firm. But they did not, even though they have found the technology, the senior management, the leadership team of the company have this fixed mindset that says that, no, we don't want to digitize the technology of photography. We just want to use our own system. And so although they found it, they shelve it aside And then, of course, later on, we know that Fujifilm found this technology and they went ahead to innovate. And that's where they are still able to survive, whereas Kodak is no more in the game. So fixed mindset versus growth mindset. So these two types of mindset, let's look at it. If you have fixed mindset, the people believe that their intelligence, their abilities are fixed at birth and cannot be changed. The characteristics would be they don't like challenges, they give up easily, they see effort as fruitless, they ignore feedback and criticism, they are threatened by others' success. That is the fixed mindset. So especially people right at the top, department heads, those who are managers, if they don't like challenges, they give up easily. They feel that they are not able to adapt and change. And then they are locked into a certain kind of mindset. This is very dangerous for a company. But for growth mindset, is they believe that intelligence and abilities can be improved. It is like going to the gym. You're able to stretch your muscle and you're able to believe that your mental muscle, your mental capacity can stretch to the next level. And the characteristic will be able to embrace challenges. They think that effort is important. They are able to persist despite of hardship. They learn from criticism and they are inspired by others' success. So what we really need to is to be able to address mindset of a company, mindset in the team, mindset of leaders. This would be the most important thing if as HR leaders partnering with the senior management is always to first of all address pervasive mindset that is carrying on in the culture of the company. And so some of the mindsets that I think is important is like I can learn from a new staff. I can learn from a new staff. I do consultation for law firms. And so some law firms, because they are so senior, the new staff are treated as just intern. They are just treated as a nobody, and they are just asked to do very low class job. And they'll never learn from a new staff. They'll never be open to listen to a new staff. In fact, the new staff are able to see a lot of things. And if you refuse to hear from them, you might lose a chance to be able to get good ideas from them. Number two, I can learn from a female colleague. Some companies are very male dominated and they would not open to listen to a female colleague, where we know that female have colleagues may have a lot of precious wisdom and gems from them. The third one is I can learn from a junior staff. Here we are talking about a staff that is lower in ranking. Yeah, they may not be new, but they are lower in ranking. And if we can say that, no, the company should not be hierarchical. Too hierarchical, we are not able to get good feedback from the ground. Then I can learn from other departments. Some departments would not foster any form of collaboration and learning from other departments. I can learn from my competitor. I can learn from a younger staff. A younger staff here, we are talking about someone of younger in terms of age. In fact, the younger people has got a lot of fresh creative ideas. I can learn from older staff as well, and that's where we need to make sure that there's no gap between the younger ones and the older ones. I can learn from everyone. These are some of the mindsets I think it is very important to address in an organization, there may be more. You must be able to pull out, identify what are those pervasive mindset that are hindering the growth of the organization. And usually business just go on day by day, but if we don't address that, we are not able to cause the organization to elevate to the next level of growth and learning and innovation. So I want to talk about the language of learning. How do we know if we are someone who is learning? What kind of words do we say? And if this is something that we can build into everyone, the kind of words we say in an organization is very important, because our words spread across all departments. Our words can spread to our team members. So it is important for us to use a certain language in terms in the company. The language of learning is the language of innovation. We don't say no. It is very important for an organization to take away the vocabulary of the word no. Because when you say no, it is not going to be useful for the organization. It's always yes. So one of the things I teach an organization is to learn to say yes and. Okay? Yes, I can find out more. Yes, I can learn from someone. Yes, I will make a bit more effort. Yes, I may be slower, but I will catch up. So our minds are able to stay open. And then two things will be developed as you learn to say yes. You will develop what we call capacity. The capacity to learn. I can learn. I can learn to speak well. Are there, have you ever heard of in a company where managers said, I can't speak well, I can't plan well, I can't connect well, I can't present well. So no, we will not allow managers or leaders at the top to use such word, but rather they will say that I may not be doing it well now, but I can learn. And mindset, I will learn. I can learn and I will learn. And of course, when you do that, it helps to keep us alive, mentally adaptive, and productive. Right. So this is just one of the 5 components to be able to build a culture of learning in your organization. Yeah. Okay. I'll just stop here. If you want to find out more for the 4 other areas, we can always chat and interact more. And you can always send an email to me, and we can always learn more together. I hope the short session is helpful for you. Do you learn something?
Yes, for me, I think it's quite an eye-opening, especially on the language of learning. You know, I've been working for a corporate for many, many years, but I've never heard of this language of learning. So it's something new and something that I can learn today. And especially on this kind of language of innovation, say yes, never say no. I can learn, I will learn. I think it's quite new to me. So I love learning this morning. So how about the other participants, like Yan? What do you think?
Yes, the sessions today is quite valuable with me when I can learn something new, especially the mindset, how the mindset drive the learning culture, drive us to build the learning cultures. And the same with Rita, I like the language of learning. It's totally new with me. But I have just a question that we already know that the mindset is very critical for us to build the learning culture. But how we can build how we can build the mindset
หรือ
for our people,
ฟังก่อนเพราะว่า
especially
ลืมไปเลยเพราะเราต้องเข้า8:30ไงเว้น
So we have another person logging in, right?
yeah.
So let's carry on, Ian. Yeah.
Yeah, so especially with the local, when our people quite not really proactive to learn, and the like the habits they learn quite based on the company's requirement. So how we can help build up for their mindset that I need to owe for my learning.
Okay, so you are asking about how do you address mindset? Am I right?
Yes.
To say that?
Yeah.
So we all know that mindset is something that is the most challenging part of an organization.
Yes.
And usually, if you don't address it, it will stay on, and it will become the biggest hindrance in a company. And outwardly, you see that activities are going on, but actually, the mindset is the unseen force in the organization that is blocking the way of growth in that organization. And I feel that as HR leader, it is very important that you first, as you are tasked, if you are tasked with changing the learning and innovative part of the organization, it is very important that you engage your senior management and and come out with the learning statement of the organization. The first thing first is to come out with the learning statement.
Yeah.
And then after you come out with the learning statement, and you know that this learning statement would address the great part of the pervasive mindset of the people in the organization. The next thing is to really put together a meeting or a gathering whereby we will address level by level, especially people who are leading, this mindset that we want to build and inculcate in an organization. And from there, I think you got to do a lot of campaign and teaching over a period of maybe at least 1 year kind of calendar to make sure that this mindset is being addressed over and over again.
Yeah.
And then before you go ahead into talking a lot about many other things, because this kind of mindset is very it is like it can become a disease. It is very insidious. It spreads very fast, and so sometimes one statement from a manager will then create a kind of mindset in the department whereby everyone will just start with a certain statement in their mind, and then after a while you begin to see that how come everyone is behaving in a certain way. So therefore, I think it's very important, come out with the learning statement, engage the senior management. Thirdly is to plan a kind of 1 year schedule or 6-month schedule whereby you are addressing different groups, introducing to them this learning mindset that we are going to develop, and to carry all these statements into their meetings, into their morning debrief meetings, into their evening debrief meetings, and all of those things, and then to carry it out into some form of a daily activity. This is some of the suggestion I would want to share with you to be able to do that. Did I answer your question?
Yes. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, Caleb. Any other questions? I understand that we have 6 more participants, right? We have a total of 8 people attending this session. For other participants, do you have any questions for Caleb? Because Caleb has to leave around 10:30. If you want to speak to give us your question, please unmute. Okay, please unmute, and then you can speak. You can speak. Okay. Any questions? If no, I have one more question for Caleb. As you know that to foster this kind of learning and develop learning culture in organization, the boss has to see the benefits before we do it. And a lot of times, before boss will see it and agree to it, we always have a challenge on the budget. How can we use a very limited amount of budget, but at the same time we can foster such culture in organization?
That's a very good question, Rita. So I would say that first of all, I would think that the budget is not the biggest challenge because you can actually do the cultivation internally. So it is very much an internal work rather than just a work that you get the consultant to address, because the addressing is really a trickled down effect from the senior leadership to the mid-level management, and then from the mid-level management to then the lower tier staff. So I would say that it is something at the top together with the HR leader. You have to share the vision that, as I give you some of the case studies, that if an organization stop learning, or if some of the leaders who are using those words that are not causing the culture to be innovative enough, they know that you can be successful now, but in 10 years' time, the organization may lose out to other competitors, and soon and later on, you might not be able to be in the game anymore. So therefore, it is always to stay ahead of the competitor. The only way is not that the boss is the only innovative person and then force down on the people. If the boss himself is innovative, but the rest of the people below are resistant to innovation and they want things to run on status quo, all your change effort will be blocked by people. I have seen many organizations when they are resistant to change, they actually block the change effort. Recently, the global company in Hong Kong, I think in Hong Kong, for Prudential. Prudential, Prudential is very, very big in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insurance company, right?
That's right. They are trying to turn the whole insurance industry to be more digital. So what happened is that the top, just a few of the top people, in fact, it is the CEO's idea to want to do it to the whole entire company. So what happened is that the CEO introduced this whole idea and is trying to force it down. So what the CEO does is to force the change effort, but without addressing the pervasive mindset. The CEO in Hong Kong, I'm talking about the CEO in Hong Kong, in Singapore, trying to force the change effort down, and so the mid-tier managers and level just below the CEO, they were all against the change effort. And what happened is that they wrote a petition. a petition against this Singapore CEO to the HQ CEO and asking for the removal of this CEO.
Wow.
And it is a big thing. So you want to change the organization to the next level, but all your leaders from the second level to the mid-tier level are all against you. Because why? They have not focused on changing mindset first. They were focusing on what? Changing technologies and changing efforts. So therefore, they face so much resistance. So to come back to Rita's question, I think a lot of it is an inner job whereby you have to really bring teams together, sharing hearts, sharing mind, and then making sure that the statement of learning is well articulated and explain the statement of learning to people to help them know that, hey, if we are not going to continually improve, Prudential can be the organization that will stay behind Manulife, AIA, and many other big giants in the insurance industry. So that is one possibility that can ever happen. So identify the inner resources. Who are these people who can champion this learning culture? Appoint someone in that department. If you have 10 departments, put together champions in each department, bring them together, and make sure that the learning statements are adopted by all these champions, and then work out a internal plan, and from there move into a long range something that can help to move the company forward. Did I answer your question?
Yes, yeah, you did very satisfied with your question. Maybe one thing I may also want to add to your answer is that we might, if we really want to make an effort to foster a culture, we might make it as an objective for the department head or even for the champion of the year or for the coming few years, so that every year or every time when they have the assessment on the performance on the objectives, that would be one of the areas that they will also look into. That would make the whole thing serious. So that
Yes.
would be my 2 cents worth. So any other questions from the other participants? Because I understand the other participants just mute themselves. And so any questions from other parties? If no, because all of you are just mute yourselves, it's okay. So I would like to have Ian to share with us on this topic. As you mentioned earlier in this session that you will have something to share with us, right? Ian?
Yes.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for your to make for me a chance to share.
Yeah.
So to continue with the topic, developing the learning culture in the company, I would want to share a small experience from me on how to create a learning cultures. I start from the formula training and development plan. Because you know that in my companies when if you don't have any clear plan for the people, so it's very hard for them to know how we can start. So to build the learning culture, so it should be mandatory for all individual in the organization, and the training and development plan is the first step. And during we implement the training and development plan like this, we recognize to learning. So when our employee who have successfully learned new skill or ability, so they should recognize and encourage other to follow them. For example, when one employee complete a learning course, so they will receive the certifications or to recognize them. and then we will collect all the certification in a years, and to have the base an evidence for us to continue to develop them, and to have the how to say, the evidence to promote them in when we have any chance. And then we when we focus on the learning, we regularly organization the feedback sessions among the employee and the senior level, to get them the feedback how we could to evaluate the benefit of training and development, as well as to determine whether the training investment is well spent or not. So by this way, we can measure and monitoring the budgets we are invest in learning. And then we, how to say, because you know that in the leadership highlights, when one employee want to move up level, so they need to know the chance, the opportunity. So we utilize the channel like the internal job posting to inform all the employees that to encourage employee to gain the knowledge if they want to develop and to reach to higher level, for example, like this. So by this time, they when they know the opportunity, they will try to learn more new knowledge and skill to close the gap in the capability, in their capability, and then we ready to promote for the ready people like this. So these are some small experience when we are trying to build the learning culture in our company.
Wonderful.
I see. Okay, any questions from the floor? Any question from the floor? So Ian, I have a question for you. You
Yes.
mentioned that at the very first beginning, you'll make it as a mandatory, right, for everybody to learn in the organization. Okay, so how I understand the mandatory as a start, then how would you get the buy-in of the employees along the way in order to make it as a success?
Yes. Because when we build the learning, the development plan, we can come up from the a lot of sources. The first sourcing is we base on the capability framework, and then we identify the gap of each person, of each employee, and then based on that we build the development plan for them, and we have a very specific development framework based on the formula learning, 70%, 20%, and 10%. And then we have we assign the mentor and coach for each employee through the development plan, and always have the, like I already said, we have the feedback session. So beside the topic to evaluate the benefit of training and develop, we still look at the development plans of each people, and then to identify any issue when they developed, and then discuss and find a solution for them. This is the first point. The second point, we base on the employee engagement survey. And then when we base on the employee engagement survey like this, we can hear the employees' voice about their needs and their difficult when they implement or they work in a company, and even the and one the element in the survey is training and development. And with the point, the training and development like this, we can find out the hot points that we need to address or fix. And based on that, we build the development and training plan for the employee. And after a fixed time like the 6 months, after we have the action to address the hot point like this, we come up with a small survey with the employee to raise the issue like this and to see to measure again the effective of the training and development plan for them to address their issues. This is the second point. And the third point we come up with from the head function and the line manager when they need that okay our how many knowledge, how much knowledge and skill that our employee need to learn and develop based on the business needs, or based on the function strategies. So based on that we discuss and brainstorming, and even we form up with the how to say the real projects to assign for the employee to lead, and then they sell this code and to see whether they want to develop, and then they drive their own project with other function. Yes. So and you see that you know that the project have the opening time and the end time, and when the end time we need to deliver the result. So these are the point that we measures the learning and development plan.
Wow, I am very impressed with these of a lot of efforts that were being put by your human resources and staff into this project. So you mentioned that you also have the engagement survey, right? So
Yeah.
do you see the improvement in terms of the learning culture after your HR department or the related parties have done a lot of stuff into this initiative? Have you seen the success and how do you measure it?
Yes.
But how do you measure it? By getting the score level being increased in the engagement survey, or how do you measure it?
Yes, related to the engagement survey, we measure through the how to say the fit the 360 degree percent of all employees, the stakeholders, the customers, and yes, through the development plan.
Wow,
Yeah.
very impressive.
Yes, and we are considered to buy the survey, the market survey, to compare with between the internal and the external to see.
Wow, very good, very good. I'm pretty sure that your company must be very focused on developing people, right? That's why they're willing to spend a lot of resources into this learning culture, fostering learning culture.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So anything to add, Ian, before we move on?
No, these are all of my sharing today.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Any other sharings from the participants today? Any other sharings or questions for Ian? If no, okay, let's move to the final session, final part of the session today is about this community, okay? Because maybe this community is new to most of you, and I would like to tell you what's the purpose of this community and what we want to achieve, okay? So basically, it's a story. I'm the founding member of this community, and I would like to share with you with a story, okay? And as some of you may know that I've been working in a few multinational companies for the past over 15 years, okay? And during my time with these companies, I was taking the regional human resources role. When I was doing it, I just feel the pain of getting information from other countries. Say, for example, when I'm from Hong Kong, right? But I also lived in Singapore for some time. So when I was sitting in Hong Kong, I would like to know about the pension scheme in Thailand. So of course, I have to rely on the local HR manager to provide me with the information. But apart from that, is there any way that I can get this market information? Say, for example, is there any legal requirements? What is the market practice of putting together this kind of pension scheme? For me, of course, legal requirements, I can always go to Google and then see if there's any related legal requirements on this topic on pension scheme. But when you come to market practice, I don't know how, because I really want to know what the other companies are doing in terms of the pension for the staff before I can advise the top management on our proposal. So at one time, I was trying to write to the local human resources association to see if they can get this kind of information for me. But the result was a bit disappointing because in the end I was not able to get what I wanted. And it applies to another cases where I wanted to put together a project, say for example for another country, an HR project in other countries, and a lot of time I was not able to get such information, especially on the market practice part, which I think is the most valuable part. So that's why this year I just thought that I really want to do something meaningful for the HR community, meaning that I want to build a platform whereby it's a platform to help all our HR professionals to solve their daily challenges. Through this platform, we are able to, like what we do today is the sharing. Through sharing, we can learn about the practices of the practitioners in different countries. And apart from that, if you say, for example, Ian also brought up the other day about his challenge, he need to put together a program, the talent development program for her company. So she asked me, Rita, I really want somebody to share with me. So that's why I just thought that, oh, this platform should be able to help you. So I organized the sharing sessions and also ask her further to see if she really need further support. Because I believe that as a human resources professionals, we want to have a platform whereby it will help us to solve our daily challenges, no matter in any functions. If, of course, the platform itself, if we are able to connect you to the solution providers so that two of you can talk further and then help you to solve the problem. This is something that we want to achieve. So that's why, and also is my purpose that this would be a minimal platform, a meaningful platform for all the HR professionals to go to in Asia to solve their problems. And we are here to help you out with your challenges. And one of the highlights that I want to make it available for this platform is to have this sharing session. And because I always believe that through sharing, we can learn a lot from each other. And also through sharing, we can make our distance closer to each other. Although some of you are sitting in Thailand, some of you are sitting in Indonesia, some of you are sitting in Vietnam. But with the technology and with this platform, I'm pretty sure that we'll work as a team with the common purpose of using this platform to solve your problems. So going forward, we will have the website ready next week. So with this website ready, I hope every one of you can make good use of this website, because with this website, we have the forum and also we have the details about the weekly sharing sessions. If you want more, you want to see more from this platform, just let us know. We will be more than happy to make the changes in order to make this platform for everybody. Okay, so basically, and this platform, our initial idea is to invite all the human resources in Asia to participate so that we can share with each other. Say, and now the world has become smaller, meaning that with technology, we are now sitting, say for example, we are now sitting in China. We really want to know what has happened in Thailand in terms of the HR practice, what about the knowledge in Indonesia and so forth. So with this platform, we are here to help you to fix your daily challenges. Okay, so here is about this HR community, and we have made the name as a Asia HRM. Okay, Asia HRM. This is a platform for you. So one day, I really hope that when you think of any HR issues that you have, just approach this platform. We are there to help you. we are all ears to listen to you. Okay, so this is about the platform, and then going forward, you will receive more communications about like inviting you to be the member of this platform, and anything that you think this platform is of assistance or support to you, just let us know. Okay, so any questions, because I understand that most of you mute yourself, so any questions in regards to this HR community? Any questions like Ian and Asa? How about Wes? Any questions or from the participants about this HR community? No questions? Okay. Lastly, I would like to get your advice on the timing of this, the schedule of this weekly session, because now we have made it as on Saturday morning. But do you think this is the best timing for you to attend the sharing sessions, or you have another suggestions? I understand that from China, people usually have the sharing sessions in the evening from Monday to Thursday, and they seldom do on Saturdays. So I just want to get your advice on this timing of this schedule. Do you think Saturday morning is also good for you, so that we can have more people to participate, more people will be benefited? What do you think?
For me,
Yes.
is on Saturday morning is okay. Yes, for me it's okay.
Okay.
If we want to run in the evening, I think it's in the working days. It's a
Okay.
better. Yes.
Okay, so if you run it, okay, evening is also okay, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, okay,
For me, it's okay.
okay. So let us think about it, because we need the input from the members before we can make it a more successful or effective one. So if you come up with any topics that you would like to talk about in our weekly session, you just let us know. And so any suggestion from your side will also be welcomed. So if any other questions or suggestion from the floor now before we end the session today? Any?
Hi, this is from Thailand.
Yes.
So just want to
Okay.
say thank you because I think that this is my first join here, and
Yes.
then looking forward to participate again. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. If you can give us some comments about this session, we also welcome it, because we always think that we need feedback from the participants so that we can make the better one. Okay. And thank you very much. So if no other comments or questions or suggestion from the floor, we'll end the session today, and we'll keep you informed of the next session. And my one last question: do you think it's a challenge that we do it on Zoom, or you have any suggestion of doing on other through other channel? Because today, we do it on Zoom, that's why some of you just joined it quite late. I think it needs time for you to config the whole thing, download the software, and so forth, right? So any suggestion on other platform for us to do it? Because we of course we want to strive for the easiest way to do it online, and also if anybody would like to say something, that would be a platform for them to say something. So any suggestion on the channel that we do it, like or you think Zoom is also okay? Because for the past few sessions, we have some challenges for the people who use Zoom for the session. So any suggestion from the floor, from the participants here? No, right? Okay, so if that's the case, then maybe we'll consider, maybe we'll keep on using Zoom, or if you come up with other suggestion, that would be nice. Okay, so we already recorded this session, and we'll send this video clip to the participants today, and we'll also put it in our website so that the other people who have not attended the session today can also watch it and listen to it. Okay, thank you very much.
Yes. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you. Have a nice
Thank
weekend. Okay, see you next
Nice
time.
weekend.
Thank you. Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye. Bye-bye.